Good morning and welcome to a lesson on solid mensuration. In this video, you will be able to understand why we need to learn solid mensuration. Second is to differentiate parameters in solid mensuration, specifically perimeter, circumference, area, and volume. Third will be to understand the equations for solving these parameters. Okay? And lastly, to solve problems involving perimeter, circumference, and area. So without further ado, let's start. Few terms before we proceed. Okay? So first is, what is solid mensuration? So solid mensuration is the branch of mathematics which studies the measurement of three-dimensional objects and their parameters like perimeter, area, and volume. Okay? So on the course of the topics that we will be discussing, hindi mawawala itong pagsosolve natin ng perimeter, area, pati itong most especially volume. Okay? Now, common shapes. Okay, let's review first the common shapes. Okay? So we have a triangle, the different quadrilaterals. Okay? Yan. Then we have the circle and all other flat surfaces. Now, let's talk about perimeter. Perimeter is defined as the distance around two-dimensional shapes. Okay? Another definition is, it is the sum of all the straight sides. Okay? So if we have this triangle here, to solve for the value of the perimeter, okay, since it is the distance around two-dimensional shape, in this case a triangle, so we just add, okay, we just add or take the sum nitong tatlong sides na ito. There is a highlighted word here, straight. Okay? So pag yung side daw ng isang two-dimensional object is straight, we refer to the sum of those sides as perimeter. But what if yung ating kinukuha is an arc distance? Okay? So in that case, we will be calling it circumference. Okay? So it is the distance around naman a circle which has no straight side. Now, moving on. So what about the term area? Okay, so area is defined as a measure of how much space there is inside a two-dimensional shape or flat surface. So we have an example here. So kanina, we talk about perimeter, i-add lang daw natin yung sides. We talk about circumference, kunin lang daw natin yung distance around the circle. But when we talk about area, okay, here we do not talk about length or yung haba. Pero yung space, sabi dito, space sa loob ng ating two-dimensional na object. So instead of this length or instead of this distance, yung kukunin natin is itong space. Okay, inside this particular shape. So that's for area. Okay? Now what about the term volume? Okay. Kung sinabi namang volume, it is a measure of how much space, okay, is inside a three-dimensional object. Okay, kung ang area is defined as the space within a two-dimensional object, ito naman is space inside a three-dimensional object. So to illustrate that point, okay, so balikan natin. If we have this triangle, at ito yung kanyang area, okay, so magiging three-dimensional object lang yan. Okay, this triangle is presently a two-dimensional object. Magiging three-dimensional object lang yan pag nilagyan natin yan ng thickness or height. Okay, so to illustrate that point, for example, we have this particular shape, okay, two-dimensional object which is in the shape of a triangle. Pag linagyan natin yan ng thickness or height, okay, yan, then we have now a certain object, okay, with a what we call volume, or which has a space inside. Kaya nga natin napapasok yung chocolate sa loob ng karton na ito. Okay? Another thing is for a circle, for example. So marami tayong objects na sa ibabaw nakikita natin merong circular na shape. Pero pag nilagyan na natin yan ng thickness or height, okay, which is the third dimension, then you can now have this, for example, sardine can. Okay? So here, this has now what we call a volume. So basically, pag sinabing volume, pwede na nating sidlan yung isang bagay. Okay? Because there is a space inside these objects. So now that we have discussed ano yung kaibahan ng perimeter, area, and volume, okay? Now let's go to the various equations in solving the different perimeters and areas of two-dimensional objects. Okay. So for triangles, so alam natin that a triangle, so katatapos lang natin ng trigonometry. Okay. So alam natin that this is the shape of a right triangle. So for a triangle, okay, so perimeter is basically the sum of all sides. So i-add lang natin side here plus side dito plus side dyan. That is the perimeter. So napakasimple lang. Now for the area of a triangle, okay, so again we are concerned sa area nung space na nasa loob ng ating, okay, shape. For the area, it is equal to 1/2 base times height. Now, anong ibig sabihin nitong base? Okay. So, base is basically yung side kung saan nakatayo yung ating triangle or yung ating shape. So, in this case, in this particular side, ito yung nagsisilbing base ng ating shape. Okay? Which is in this case, a triangle. So, ito daw yung formula ng area ng triangle. It's basically 1/2 base times the height. In this case, yung height natin is yung side A. Okay? So, kaya yung area for this particular triangle will be 1/2 ng B, which is our base, times the height, which is A. Now, special cases of triangle. So, kanina, given tayo nitong triangle na to. Okay? Now, what if magdagdag tayo ng this triangle with a base of D? Okay? Now, this is still a triangle. Okay? But because we added this particular triangle, mas humaba or mas lumaki yung ating triangle na kinukunan ng area ngayon. Now, for this triangle, applicable pa rin yung formula natin kanina or yung equation natin kanina in solving for the area. Kaso lang, magbabago ng konti yung ating, okay, equation or yung ating isa-substitute for the base. Okay? So, in this case, since nagdagdag tayo ng base na D, okay, since ito na ngayon yung kinatatayuan ng ating triangle. So, this whole thing, okay, from here up to here, this is now the new base. Okay? So, since ito na ngayon yung new base, marapat lang na palitan natin yung formula. Okay? That the base is now B plus D times the height na A pa rin. Okay? So, bakit naging ganito yung formula for this particular triangle? So, basically, ang nangyari dyan is ganito. Okay? So, you have the area for this small triangle is 1/2 base times height. 1/2 D times A. Okay? Ito namang triangle na to, okay, it is 1/2 base, which is B, times A. Itong part na to is para dun sa maliit na triangle at ito naman para sa bigger triangle. Okay? Now, Another formula or another equation para ma-solve yung area ng triangle is when we are given the three sides of our triangle. So in this case, hindi given sa atin yung height ng triangle, but we are given the three sides. So for this particular case ng triangle, ang i-apply naman natin dito is what we call the Heron's formula. Again, when all sides are given. So ano itong Heron's formula? So basically, first is you solve for the half of the perimeter of the triangle. Okay? Which is also known as semi-perimeter, or meaning, semi means one half. So half ng whole perimeter ng ating triangle. So in this case, the semi-perimeter, which is represented by this variable s, is equal to the perimeter of the triangle divided by 2, since semi, half of the perimeter. So after nakuha natin yung semi-perimeter na yan, then we can substitute this to what we call the Heron's formula. Okay? So the area of the triangle now is equal to the square root, okay, ng s times s minus 1 of the side times s minus 1 of the side times s minus 1 of the side of the triangle. Okay? So basically, ganito naman yung pagkuha ng area ng triangle when you are given the sides. Again, no height was given. Okay? Now, that's all for triangles. Let's move on to another shape. Okay? Quadrilateral. So basically, it means four sides. Quad and lateral. Okay? So four sides. Now, if we have this quadrilateral, okay, to solve for the perimeter, madali lang. Again, you just add, okay, the four sides, the four straight sides, and you have the value of the perimeter. Okay. Now, what about the area? Okay. So this is the area of our quadrilateral. Okay. The area is equal to base times height. No, wait. Parang familiar sa pandinig. Base times height. Kung alala nyo kanina, yung formula for the area ng triangle is 1/2 base times height. Now, ngayon naman for quadrilateral, it's actually base times height. Now, kung titingnan natin dito, okay, paano naging ganito yan? Okay, if we try to look at it, itong ating quadrilateral is actually composed of two triangles. So, kaya naging base times height na ito. So, basically, the area of a quadrilateral is equal to 2 times the area of a triangle. So, kanina na laman natin that area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. I-times lang natin sa 2. So, this will be cancelled out. Kaya naman, yung area for a quadrilateral is this 1. Just multiply the base times the height. So in this case, the area of this quadrilateral is just D times A. Or pwede din, since A is just equal to C, D times C. Okay? So ganyan lang. Now, lahat ng quadrilateral, since maraming klase ng quadrilaterals, okay? Lahat ng quadrilaterals or yung four-sided na polygon, okay? Lahat niyan is yung area base times height. Example ng quadrilateral na ganito yung formula is yung rectangle, okay, square, okay, parallelogram, and rhombus. Now for these two quadrilaterals, dito sa dalawa, okay, careful lang tayo. Yung height na gagamitin natin dito is what we call the perpendicular height. Okay? So kung napapansin nyo dito sa parallelogram at rhombus, tabingi yung kanyang sides. Okay? This one, tabingi. Okay? So, yung gagamitin natin na height is from here up to here. Perpendicular height, meaning mag-create siya ng 90-degree angle. Okay? To the base of our quadrilateral. So, this is now our perpendicular height. Ito yung isa-substitute natin dito sa formula. So, the base times this height, yan yung area for these two types of quadrilaterals. Now, what if naman, hindi given yung base at saka height, pero given tayo ng diagonals. So, in this case, given tayo ng diagonal 1 and the length of diagonal 2. Okay? Now, kapag binigyan tayo ng diagonals, yung area naman ng quadrilateral will be equal to 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay? So, yan yung formula in solving this particular shape. Okay? Now, another quadrilateral na hindi base times height yung formula will be the trapezoid. Now, for a trapezoid, meron siyang dalawang bases. Okay? Base 1 and base 2. And this particular perpendicular height. Okay? So, to solve for the area of a trapezoid, yung kanyang formula naman is ganito. Base 1 plus base 2, yung sum, i-divide natin by 2, then saka natin i-multiply sa height. Basically, yung nangyari dito, you take the average ng dalawang bases, okay? Average ng dalawang bases, then i-multiply natin sa height ng ating trapezoid. And that is now the area for this particular shape. Okay. Now, what about circumference? Circumference ng circle. So, before we go to the formulas, okay, let's understand first that a circle, meron niyang center. And from a point on the circle to another point on the circle, passing through the center, okay, yan, we call this the diameter of our circle. Okay. Another thing is, from the center of our circle to any point on the circle, for example yan, we call that the radius. Okay? So, it's very important na maintindihan natin ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawang ito and how are they related also to each other. So, for example, sa circumference ng circle, it is just equal to 2 times the radius, okay, times pi. Or, another formula will be diameter times pi. Now, kung titingnan natin dito, bakit naging diameter times pi? Kung titingnan natin, itong diameter is just actually equal to this radius plus this radius. Meaning, itong 2r pala is just equal to the diameter of our circle. So, diameter times pi. Now, for the area of this circle is actually equal to pi times radius squared. Na nalaman natin kanina na dalawang radius is diameter. Meaning pala, pag kinuha ko yung kalahati ng diameter, so I will have also the radius. Kaya naman dito, instead na r squared, pwede mong palitan d divided by 2 squared. Meaning half ng diameter, which is still equal to the radius. Okay? Yun yung square natin dito. So, this is the formula for the area of a circle. Now, what about special cases for circles? So, sector of a circle. Kung mapapansin nyo yung sector, it is in the shape of a pwedeng pamaypay or pwede ding pizza. Okay? So the formula for the area of a sector of a circle is this one. 1/2 radius squared times this angle. Okay? We call this the central angle of our sector. Now this theta, okay, kailangan yung value niyan must be in radians. So, kadalasan ng mga makikita natin na given dito is naka-degrees. So, kailangan pag pinasolve sa atin yung area ng sector, i-convert muna natin to radians bago natin i-substitute dito sa formula na to. Okay? So, klaro yan. Now, next is for the segment of a circle. So, the segment of a circle is actually just a part of this sector. Kung papansin nyo, ito lang yan. Dito, hanggang dyan. So, meaning, it is just part of the sector of a circle. Tinanggal lang yung triangle na part. Okay? Tinanggal lang itong part na ito. Okay? So, basically, yan, tinanggal lang yan. Ito yung base ng triangle. Meron tayong height ng triangle. For the area of this segment, it just equal to area ng sector. Kaltasan natin ang area ng triangle. So, substituting the values for the formula, area ng sector is 1/2 r squared theta. Then yung area ng triangle, as discussed kanina, is 1/2 base times height. And this is now, pag nakaltas natin yan, sa area ng sector, makukuha naman natin yung area ng ating segment. So those are the formulas related to perimeters, areas, and circumference. Now for the sample problems, as an application of these formulas, I'll be putting some links in the description box below, so make sure to check it out. And that's it. If you find this video helpful, please leave it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you will be updated on our next uploads. With that, thank you for watching and see you on our next video.